Ah, dang it. I'm trying to do horizontal, but it does not want to let me. This is twice. Good golly. Let's see if anybody jumps in here. But here is the short version. Things are changing on our YouTube channel. We're going to do some stuff a little different around here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. See if anybody jumps in at all. Also, where'd my monster go? Eat your spin's good. Alright, let's give you guys a little rundown on what's going on in the shop. First things first, New Mexico Bronco. Let's just start in the corner here. We got a bunch of stuff clean, including the frame, all our desolate parts ready to go. I know this has been here for a while. We got hung up on some stuff. We got leaves in. We got cores ready to go back. But this thing has been on a delay because we didn't know what we were going to do with the motor. And the motor made like no compression, 70 or 80 pounds. And it is pretty gutless to begin with. Also, it was a C6, so no overdrive. And he's running 488s in his new setup because of the elevation he's at. So anyways, we got a new motor for it. Let's walk over here, we'll check it out. We'll get to this, we'll get to those in a minute. You be patient. Be patient. Somebody jump in the chat, tell me if they can hear me. I'm on my headset. This is ATK HP11 mid-dress. So this is the motor. This is the motor that's going into the New Mexico Bronco. It's a 385-ish horse, 351. Should make like 420 torque. Should be a good setup. Looking forward to it. Be a good one. All right, cool. Oh, hey, there you are. What's going on? How are you? Let's see, what else is going on over here? Got a bunch of Dobinson's parts. Got a couple LRA tanks that are going in. Got a core front diff. Got a core rear diff. Rich, those are not yours, but yours are very similar and they'll be en route shortly. They are ordered. The Dart's been here for a minute. It doesn't like it when I do that, sorry. Vertical orientation it is. Dart, we had some parts delays on, but guess what? Right over there. Yeah, that's a good used dirt bike's worth of QA1 parts and a set of Willwoods. So that's all going on here, and then we got some other stuff. Definitely got a set of wheels, a set of leaves, and some other fun things coming on it. QA1 rear shocks. The rake on it is horrible. It's scrubbing front tires. Runs like, it runs okay. It runs okay. It's got a nice little 408 stroker. Was a 360. So I'll show you that real quick. Mopar or no car, brother. Where's the latch? Dang it. Well, here, let me do this. There we go, that's cuter. There you go. So, nice little stroker motor. So that's cool. So it's got enough power to do something fun, but it doesn't have enough chassis to do anything fun, and it's cooking the inside edge tires. They are corded completely. Bald. So anyway, so we're going to fix the alignment. We're going to keep it low like this. We've got a set of 17s going on it. It's going to be great. It's going to get fuel injection, all that fun stuff. Another thing's been here for a while, Mikey's bug. We've got seats about ready to get mounted up. We got sliders and some other stuff going on it. We've done some repair work on the cab, on the shell, the bug shell. This is the fuel cell that we mocked up. We've got quotes we're trying to get for it. They have come back substantially higher than what we thought they were going to be. So we're trying to make some design changes to simplify the design, but still have like 35-ish gallons. This is a 42 gallon setup. We really feel like we need that fuel because this also has a 408 LS2 with 408 stroker, Weddle S45D, so sequential wheelie machine. This is a personal repair project, but it belongs to a friend, so if you want a Bandit 1200S, it's going to be a good rider, let me know who's going to sell that. Dusty's Bronco has been kicking us in the cojones at every available opportunity, but we've about got it. I mean, wheel cylinders and brake master cylinder and radiator and broken bolts in the intake and broken bolts in the timing cover and just everything. A perpetual transmission leak that I just about cannot get rid of. Right up in here, there's a, let's see, show you guys, right up here, this linkage. See those drippies? It's from that seal behind that nut on that kickdown cable. It's a notorious leaking spot on Ford C6s and C4s, but it's you know, doing its best to kick our butt at every available opportunity. But it is running and driving. It is not overheating. We've replaced intake gaskets to keep it from being a big problem and all that fun stuff. Rowan's Firebird. We put this 5.3 and 4L60 in this thing a couple years ago now. It's got a rear main leak because LS, but in order to pull the trans off of the motor, we have to drop everything out the bottom, and it's kind of making low oil pressure, so we're going to throw rods and mains in it. It was running a little funky, but we think we got that figured out now, and so now that we got it, you know, dialed down to where it's running right, we're going to go ahead and pull the motor back out. That way we know it's not anything new when we fire it back up. So we're going to pull the motor out and we're going to check it over. Probably just get rods and mains. We'll check the rings, but we're not going to like fully disassemble the motor and then put it back together. It's getting 373s, subframe connectors, and a set of sway bars while we're at it. Probably some new shocks. You guys haven't seen this one. This is Victor's 68 Nova. This is Belinda. Pretty race car on the inside, but look at that brand new wiring harness because it's got wiring problems from the previous owner. Transmission tunnel is going to get remade. Dakota Digital Dash. Probably going to wind up getting rid of these A-pillar gauges, I think. Putting a 68 Camaro center console in it with the gauges. And under the hood, yeah, LSA with the itty bitty pulley. So this thing scoots and goots. It's should be pretty good, you know. Probably wind up doing some other upgrades to it, but it's got like a curry rear end in it with the 4-link setup in the back, and it's got a bunch of upgraded parts in the front. Probably need to do a brake upgrade in the front at some point, but we'll get it back on the road. It's been sitting for about a year and a half, just from various whatevers. I guess that's about it for what's here right now. We got stuff coming. Got a couple little things coming on Monday to knock out. And if you guys have questions, feel free to jump in the chat there. But I'm sure the question is, from the title, how much are you making on YouTube and what are you doing about it? And why haven't you posted in 3 weeks? Well, here's the truth. YouTube, even though we are bringing in some money, I'm going to get over in the air paths. Even though it does bring in some money, it costs me a lot more than it brings in. And the main thing is the growth rate. The growth rate on the channel is, it's okay. We're definitely ahead of the curve. Oh, there we go. Agar in the comments. He's the guy who owns the New Mexico Broncos. So, yeah. we're ahead of the curve of most, but you know, there's like 10,000 hours uploaded every minute to YouTube. So there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people trying to do things. For me, I've had a hard time personally trying to decide if I want to be a YouTuber or if I want to be a hot rod shop. That has been kind of pulling at me from both directions the entire time. The reality of it is, what I'm doing on YouTube is marketing for the business. The good news is it brings in business. Matter of fact, the two guys that have been in the chat right now, both of those guys found me through YouTube in one way or another, and they're both, you know, customers and repeat customers at this point. So the good news is the work is coming in, and we are keeping work going because of YouTube, and we appreciate you. Eternally grateful for that, because that does help. The problem with YouTube content creation is the amount of time that it takes to make it. When I'm filming these videos, I'm able to run at maybe half speed. Like the time it takes, we do a lot of these like GX suspension installs and whatnot, and it's one of those deals where, you know, it's one of those deals where we would normally take like 5 hours to do that job, and it probably takes me 7 or 8 just on that job specifically if we film that, which is why we've got a couple of them done, and it's just not worth, unless you guys want to watch me do a GX suspension every other week, which I'm sure there's a couple of you out there that do. It's not, you know, it's not interesting. It doesn't tell a story. Like, what is that behind me? Sean, that is 69 Dart. We just kind of talked about all that. It's getting a bunch of stuff. So when we get done, go back and rewatch the first of it. I did the shop walk first. Thanks. It's just not interesting. And yeah, it's getting 12 and 15,000 views on some of those, but I could go in and overlay some analytics in here after the fact, and you can see where 15,000 views, and I've made $21 on a video with 15,000 views and, you know, however many hours of watch time. Now that's just on AdSense. So I guess that kind of rolls into how much am I really getting paid on YouTube. We do get money coming back in. It is, the reality of it is it's less than $100 a month, because they don't even pay me every month, because you have to hit $100 for them to pay you, to write your check, or direct deposit in our case. So right now we're running between $85 and $97 a month, and that's been pretty consistent for about a year. The problem with that is I'm trying to run a shop, and I'm trying to run a business, and also some of y'all know we have the welding shop that we don't even talk about on the channel. That has got to be dealt with, and it's one of those deals where the business is what feeds my family and feeds my employees. YouTube is essentially a marketing expense, and that's okay. Like, that's okay, but it's still in the red by quite a bit. Paying for editing and paying for these days Steve, and previously it was Rowan, you know, we'll just put a ballpark number on it of about $1,200 a month. Now Steve does come down and helps out on the weekends here and there, but in all reality, it costs the shop about $500 a month to have somebody else go through all the content and edit it down and polish it up and make it look pretty, because I don't have time to do it. I'm already thinking about this place till midnight every night and up at 5 every morning. So there is a business to run here. YouTube is a part of it, but it is a marketing expense. I had a conversation with another guy whose channel has blown up here recently, because we're talking about doing some collab work. The reason that we've kind of held off posting for the last couple of weeks is we've got a bunch of content in the bag, but in all reality, we got to the point where we were too busy trying to get work out and not able to slow down enough to film that in a timely fashion while we're trying to get work done, because once again, we got to pay the bills around here. And so we've probably got 8 or 10 videos that are like 75% of the story, but there's no wrap up. There's no closer. There's no, here's the last 3 hours worth of work that we did to put it together. There's no interview with the client. There's none of that stuff. So we've got hours and hours and hours of what is essentially wasted productivity when it comes down to it. At the time, we weren't. We were investing in the marketing side of the program. But what is essentially wasted productivity because we haven't done anything with the footage at this point. Now, Steve and I have talked a lot, and we've gone back and forth for the last couple of weeks about what we're going to do going forward and how we're going to make things tell a better story and kind of be better at being a YouTuber. But that doesn't mean that I can sacrifice the paying client work. So what we're probably going to do is cut down on filming client work, which is what we've done up until this point almost exclusively, other than probably 2 or 3 little videos, a tool review or 2, and then my truck that got like 3 views of us going to Bridgeport, and then the red Suburban, which has done a little bit. It's got 600 or 800 or something like that. So anyways, the short version of this, as I ramble on, is we're probably going to quit filming paying client work for the most part. There'll be a few things. This dart's going to tell a pretty cool story. I could show you how to rewire a car. We're going to rewire that Nova completely, and it would be good and informative, but does it really tell a story? And when the man's paying me by the hour, is it really worth it? Because then I have to discount either my hourly rate, or I have to knock 20 to 30% of the time I spent on the thing out of it. And KC touched on this in his latest video, and Eric, if you're watching, or if you see this, thanks for leaving that in, and KC too. KC's paint shop, KC Matthew. Our buddy Eric does his video production for him and has helped me out a bunch on some of this stuff. KC touched on it. He's like, I'm charging that guy $105 an hour for body work and for mounting cabs and doing all this stuff. It's 6 weeks worth of work at $4,200 a week plus material. We paid $4,000 for this other cab, and I can get it done in a couple days. So for him, it's $16,000 or $5,000. And so it's one of those deals where you've got to balance the client's time versus, because it's real money we're talking about here. Let's be honest. So in reality, in order to keep the hot rod shop financially viable, we're probably going to have to quit filming custom cars for the most part. That said, the next video that I put out, at least on the live side of things, Steve may have 1 or 2 in the bag he's ready to post, but the next one of these lives, I'm going to go around and show you all my projects. And I'm going to let you guys decide what we work on next, because I've got like 6 right now, plus some stuff that needs to be done on the Super Duty. I've probably got about 6 different projects that are my projects or Steve and I's projects. Then those are going to need some work, and I want you guys to tell me what you want to see. That gets us into the next level of the problem with the YouTube. Not only is it not really profitable, it is bringing in marketing. I'll admit, but it's not paying for itself yet. And so until we can get to the point where it's paying for itself, then we'll focus more on that. The main thing is Steve and I are going to come in on Saturdays, and we're going to work on our stuff. And there's a lot of channels that I watch, guys like Cletus, guys like Vice Grip, guys like Demolition Ranch, or Matt Character. There's a lot of kind of bantery, charactery stuff, and I think we're going to try to do that more. Puddin is a character. He gets work done, but his stuff is not super technical. We've got videos that are super technical that are done really well, but we've also got videos that are kind of technical, and nobody's watched them. I slow myself down 4 or 5 hours, and the thing gets 200 views. Like, why do I bother? And that touches on the reality of the situation, which is a lack of engagement. And by engagement, that means comments, that means likes. And there's a reason every YouTuber tells you, oh, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, is because, at least for us, we have a 10, maybe 12% return viewer rate. We'll post a video and get 3,000 views on it, but there's only 300. Well, there's 300 views out of almost 2,600 subscribers. So people are subscribing, but they're not coming back. Or there's people that are watching that aren't subscribed, so then, their algorithm doesn't feed them where they want to be. And that's part of that is the mystery of trying to run a channel. And Steve tells me I worry too much about it. If we just focus on the content, then the audience will come, or the audience will stay, or the audience will come back. And I'm kind of coming around to that. Now, this other guy that we talked to recently, he came down to the shop to, like I said, talk about a collab project, and he had some good points. I really appreciate Sean. I really appreciate you coming down. If you ever see this, looking forward to working on it. He's got some really good points that everything should tell a story, and that I need to be more focused on what exactly it is that I'm trying to accomplish in each video. Now, his channel blew up way faster than most anybody. I mean, this guy's in 6-digit subs in a year. We're 2.5 years in, and we're at 2,600. So the last thing that once again Steve tells me I focus too much on, but it catches on to my ADD and I don't like it, is that our growth rate has stayed steady at like 100 subs a month. Like steady. Like dead flat. So our growth is here, but it's not doing this, right? So you would think if your channel is growing, like when we've gone from 500 to the 1,000 to the 1,500, 2,500, etc., we're still at 100 subs a month. And I just don't understand it. The reason I'm so fixated on it is because I don't get it. I don't get how we go from, okay, we found these 2,500 people that like what we do, and then the next month we get 100 subs, but then the month after that it's not 102. And then the next month it's 110. And then the next month it's 112. And 120. And 125. And 150. And then it's dead freaking flat, man. You go back and you look at the analytics on the thing, and it's 93, 105, 97, 110. Like it's 100 straight across the board. 100 subs a month. And I know there's channels out there that they don't even have 100 subs, and they've been posting gaming videos for 3 years. Keep grinding, man. But the flip side to that is, if nobody's subbing, nobody's watching, and subs aren't everything, but like, if nobody's subbing, what you're doing is crap. And that's what makes me feel bad, is that, okay, if our subscriber base isn't on an upward trend from month to month, we're just spinning our wheels, right? That's the part that has got my gears turning. It's not that I'm fixated on the fact that the analytics are doing this or the analytics are doing that. Like, it's what am I doing wrong where my growth is a flat plateau. It's 100 subs a month, period. And it has been. It has been. I mean, we hit 1,000 subs in a year, 12 months. That's pretty close, okay? It took us 13 months to get monetized. So 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs. We got monetized. I didn't get my first check for more than 6 months, because you got to make $100. So now that we're at the point where the channel's making some money on, like, where they're actually dispersing funds, it's okay. If I'm going to take the time out of the production schedule to get people's cars done in a timely fashion, I got to film something somebody's going to watch. So for those of you that have watched this far, let's talk about the project list. Let's talk about what's coming next. You will get more of me and Steve bickering, so that's fun. It'll be more like, kind of like watching a podcast with us tinkering on stuff. I think that's the effect we're going for. It's more of he and I, you know, saying fart jokes and like, you know, kind of going at each other from time to time. I've known that guy for 25 plus years. He officiated my wedding. Like, we go back, all right? The guy is the closest thing I've got to a brother. So here's the things we've got coming. At the house right now, or between the house and the shop right now, what we've got the most parts for probably is our 58 F100. We've got video started on it that we've never released. There's like a post or two on Instagram. So it's a 58 short bed. We bought it from the Weatherford Auto Tech program like a year and a half ago, and basically haven't touched it. I've got a motor to go in it. We've got a transmission to go in it. We've got another motor and another transmission that we could put in it if we want to. We've talked about Crown Vic swapping it. We've talked about dropped axle, beam axle. We've talked about doing Mustang 2. I wanted to make it a pre-runner. He won't let me, and he's got half the money in the thing, so I guess I don't get to do that. I want to pre-runner everything. I would pre-runner the Dart if they would let me, okay? I would pre-runner the Nova if they would let me. So, it's one of those deals where, like, I want to jump all the things all the time. Alrighty, so 58 F100, we've kind of got the most pieces, and it's probably the easiest to get up and rolling from a bare bones standpoint at this point. It's going to be hard to be done because it's rough. It's real rough. Should we Crown Vic it? Should we? Who we got here talking? We love Poppy123. What's up, dude? So 58 F100. Should we work on that next? Should we? So we've also got a 96. Steve's got like 4 Mustangs. One of them is a shell of a 96 that I've jokingly called the employee drift car for about a year and a half now, or about 2 years now. It's the shell's straight. It's black. It's got tan interior that's destroyed, and it's been sitting in my backyard for 2 years or more. On top of that, there's a 68 Nova right there. I've got a 71 Nova that Steve Dulcich and Freiberger would be proud of. This is a roadkill garage, roadkill, like Finnegan and Freiberger, you know, stop signs in the floor. Blackwell, my buddy Steve Blackwell said, this is not a car, this is a template for a car. I want to do something crazy with it. I've got, out of Jay's bus, I've got the 4-bolt 350, I've got a Turbo 400, and I have an NP205 transfer case. And you might say, do you want to make it 4-wheel drive? And I go, no, I don't want to make it 4-wheel drive. I want low range burnout gear and then high range highway speeds. That's what I think I want to do with that one. It's got to have a floor anyway, so we might as well make it where it fits a transfer case that doesn't have a front drive shaft. I want to take it to the dirt track, not to smash in Derby night. I just want to see if, like, I got friends of friends that own a dirt track that we should be able to go and, like, just see what we can do with it. There's the North Texas Rallycross events. I would love to take it there. I want to drag race it, and I want to take it on a road trip. And we want to autocross it because they autocross here in town. So, like, I want to just kind of run through a gamut of tests. Like, that car makes me think roadkill, old school roadkill. What can we do with a very small budget and the shit we got laying around? And it is what it is. So, you got the 58, you got the Mustang. The Mustang. The 351 out of the New Mexico Bronco. I'm keeping that. We've worked out a deal where I get to keep that motor. There's also a C6 transmission that we're going to figure out how to come up with. So that gives me a 351 and a C6. That car's a 96. It was originally a 2-valve 4.6 car, but we'll put a tubular K member in it, and I want to make it into like a cheapy drag car project. So you got the 58, you got the Mustang, the 96, you got the 71 Nova. My 95 Silverado is my father-in-law's truck. I have another truck that we can pull the Vortec motor out of. We need to build the Vortec motor to go into what the boys call Papa's truck. It's two-wheel drive, but it's got a granny trans and 373 from the factory. It's got those old 454 SS steel wheels on it. I want to turn it into like a period correct work truck. I drive it from time to time. Some of you guys have seen it. I bring it back and forth to the shop. It's a extended cab, short bed, 350 TBI. You know, it's cool. Brown on brown with a brown floor mat and a takedown. But that thing runs great, except it leaks oil everywhere. And it's about due for a clutch. It's got like 200,000 miles on it, the original clutch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it into like a period correct work truck. We're gonna build a ladder rack for the thing, because sometimes we need to go get one or two pieces of tube and 20 something feet long. This is English, I suppose. It better be. So we're going to build a ladder rack for it so I can go get like one piece of roll cage tubing if I need to without having to hook up a trailer. And so, whatever, dude, it's my video, get right. We're going to build the ladder rack for it. I want to do like the two-wheel drive level spindles, and I've got a set of leaf springs for the back. And so that's where we're at on that deal. It needs some methods and some all-terrains and all that kind of stuff. But I can go through that whole process if you guys want to see it. So that's those. The Vortec motor is coming out of, also stashed in my backyard at the house, a 99 two-door Tahoe. It is also brown on brown, and it's got some old frame damage. Now, a few of you have heard about this, so I'll release it to the public. We're 32 minutes in on me bantering or rambling, so 5 people that are watching now might actually see this. I've got a two-door Tahoe, and I wanted to make it into a pre-runner because I want to pre-run everything. But I got to thinking one day, and I stumbled across a dude called the Targa Truck, and he's this Canadian dude with a C10 long bed that got into autocrossing. Anyway, so he moved his motor back in his like 71, 69 C10, whatever it was. And I got to thinking, well, what if we take that two-door Tahoe? And then also I've discovered you can not only put Crown Vic front ends under stuff, but you can also put S550 front ends under stuff. And you can also take newer Chevy truck geometry because the frames are very similar in width, and you can adapt all-wheel drive. So here's what I want to do. I want to do a turbo LSX, and I want to shove it back where the water pump is at or behind the upper ball joint. I want to pull that motor back like a foot or more, like 14, 16 inches into the dash. And then we're going to take this four-wheel drive Tahoe, and we're going to put a ZL1 or an S550 rear end underneath it. And then we're going to cut the quarters off of it, and we're going to get some pre-runner side glass, or quarter panel glass, and a one-piece trophy truck front end. And we are going to slam this thing on the ground on probably a set of like 20 by 12s, no poke. I want it all inside the fiberglass. But the end result is basically going to be a slammed all-wheel drive rear set motor, independent rear, 6-speed, because you can get a 6060 or a T56 to adapt to an H2 transfer case. Shout out to Jason Bailey at Texas Drivetrain. And I want to make a turbo LS 1000 horse manual transmission two-door Tahoe drift wagon. Nobody's done it. Now I know Zach has done Godzilla swap and all this other stuff in his thing since he left Hoonigan. It's not for drag and drive. This thing is going to be basically like a road race two-door Tahoe. It's going to kind of be more like those Pikes Peak SUVs from the mid 90s. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. Road race truck, just because it's stupid and because nobody's done it. And then the next most likely project after the F100, because F100 is probably going to be the easiest, is my buddy Archie from high school. I did some wheeling and dealing with him, and he has a 71 C60 rollback wrecker that was converted from a dump truck. And it's got a big block, and it's got like an Eaton, and it's got like a 2-speed rear end in the thing. So that is probably going to be one of, if not the first projects. Probably going to be the F100 and then the wrecker. Because my inner Mike Finnegan has a thing for ramp trucks. So, but it is a rollback, slide back wrecker. It's going to be pretty cool. It used to be for like a forklift company from like the 80s and 90s. So it's a 71 C10. So it's C10 cab, but it's got that like dump truck school bus front end on it, and then the tall deck 368 big block, that like bus motor that everybody hates. But we'll get it running. This thing was running. It's had a bunch of rebuild work done on it over the years. It's been sitting for a little while, so that'll be like a cold start episode. So anyways, we're going to make a video where we let you guys decide what's first. We'll lay out all the information, and hopefully you tell us what you want to see. Let me wrap it up by saying thank you for watching. You guys that I run into on the street and at car shows and all that kind of stuff, you tell me you like the videos. I appreciate it. I really do. But those of you guys who just watch and we don't see in person, just throw a comment in there. It really makes a big difference. It really, really does. It drives the algorithm, and it makes it where our information gets out to the rest of the world. And it's not just so I can make money and buy helicopters like the big guys do once they get all that money, because I'm never going to be Cletus. I'm never going to be Heavy D. I don't even watch Whistling Diesel. I refuse to watch it. I think he's nothing but clickbait. That I just don't. So once those guys start getting all that money, like, it gets annoying with me. That said, this does take a considerable amount of effort and a fair bit of money to keep it up and rolling. And so, you know, it's nice as a business owner or as somebody with a family to see some returns from that. But the only way you guys can help with returns on that is by buying merch or sharing videos. Like, that's it. Oh, and the prices in our merch store, they're set by kind of YouTube and Shopify, whatever it's called. Maybe it's not Shopify. Whatever. Our merch store. There's a link. We've gotten like 20 clicks, but I think we've only sold like 3 things in the last like couple months. Honestly, I feel like we're right in line or cheaper than everybody else. But I'm kind of cheap, so I feel like the prices are a little too high. So, but literally, you buy a $27 T-shirt, I think we make like $4. So, or $5. It's not. It ain't coming in my pocket, and that's pre-tax. So, anyways, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Steve's probably going to give me a hard time for how long this is and whatever. But you guys give Steve-O a shout out for his editing. I feel like he does a good job given the kind of crap I give him. It'd be nice if I would give him better content for him to be able to work with. And watch the videos, man. Playtime matters. Watch time matters. Clicks are cool, but watch time matters. So, y'all be good. We'll see you on the next one. Tahoe sounds good. Oh, thanks, Rich. I appreciate you sticking through, man. Oh, does anybody have any more questions? Other than Anthony Panthony, who's just trying to troll and not doing a very good job of it. Oh, hi, honey. No. We got 6 live. That's cool. I saw 14 at one point. That's like the most I've ever seen. What time is it? It's 1:30. I'm going to go pick up this bumper from this dude, and then I'll be home. Nick, if you see this, I'm going to meet up with that guy to get that bumper for your race car. Nope, no other questions. All right, cool. If you guys need anything. Oh, it's Garrett. Did you finally wake up, dude? It's summertime. Garrett's 10. He's sleeping till noon these days. All right. We love you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.